Trail running for the most part is a simple sport. I love that you can just grab a pair of shorts, a pair of shoes, and a shirt and go for a run in nature. Hi there, my name is Billy Yang and I'm a filmmaker, and I've been running trails and ultras for over 15 years. And over that time I found a few pieces of gear that make my runs more enjoyable and comfortable that I wanted to share with you today. They're not must-haves for everyone, but they become my go-tos, especially as a creator out there. So here are 10 things that I like to wear and bring along with me when I hit the trails. Okay, so when I initially heard about the separate shorts and baseliner system, I was a bit dubious only because it broke from convention, right? But after speaking to the founders of Path, it made perfect sense. When you separate the baseliner from the shorts, you have fabric that moves independent from one another versus a stitched in baseliner that could move and create friction against your body, especially the more loaded down your shorts get with gels and smartphones, etc. With the separate system, you can put all your gels, your phone, your nutrition into your pockets, but your baseliner doesn't bounce with it, which creates an independent suspension, if you will, and reduces chafing and other potential issues. Secondly, you get to wear different baseliners for the conditions you're running in. Their baseliner systems range from, I believe, 3-inch to about 8-inch, all the way to a full length, covering almost all seasons of wear. You can also have the option for a more comfortable, everyday type baseliner in the Tahoe, or a more technical fabric in their Lynx collection, which uses something called Polartec Power Dry for your peak performance days. You also have the benefit of just less laundry. Switch out your baseliners daily, of course, after each run or everyday wear, but the shorts can be washed every other run or maybe every 3 runs. And lastly, there's just less packing involved. For most trips, I'm packing just a pair of shorts and few baseliners that also double as everyday underwear, and I'm pretty much good to go. I've been running in these shorts since 2018, and their durability allowed me to put many miles on them. My personal preference is the Grave shorts with the relaxed fit, which provides more space in the hip and butt area, and of course the legs, just to move around and not feel too restrictive. They also have separate zip pockets on the sides, which I like for ease of access. I usually place a Ziploc bag for TP, and in the second pocket I will probably put some kind of trash or use gels and wrappers, things like that. It also features a front pocket that you can slide your key fob in, and of course their signature back pocket where you can store your smartphones for easy access. Okay, so by now some of you already know that this is and has been my go-to everyday type trail shoe. I liken it to my Subaru Outback. It doesn't necessarily do one thing great, but it handles a variety of things the trail throws at you very well. Its versatility has allowed me to take it on everything from a local 10K trail run to using it in a 100-mile mountain race. The upper is a durable engineered mesh that balances breathability with protection. The Vibram Mega Grip outsole provides sticky traction on wet rock, loose gravel, and even some muddy sections of a trail that you encounter. And combine that with Topo's signature roomy toe box and the snug midfoot, and you've got a shoe that feels comfortable and super locked in. It's ideal for those longer runs where you want protection but still some ground feel, which is super important to me. And if you're someone who loves tackling moderate to rugged terrain, then consider taking a look at this shoe. For me, I found it to be the perfect do everything, everyday trainer type shoe. Okay, so why the heck would I list antiperspirant as a favorite piece of gear? Well, for me, in the past few years, it's definitely worked, but not used in the way that you might think. See, back in 2021, I noticed a friend of a friend using deodorant on his feet before his big 100-mile race, so I asked him about it. He basically said it was just a cheaper alternative to using something like Body Glide, but it definitely got the wheels in my head turning. As someone who's dealt with sweaty feet and countless blister issues from races to thru hikes, I had a bit of a light bulb moment. Why not go a step further and try using antiperspirant before long endurance events, see if they can resolve my ongoing foot issues? Well, sure enough, it has been a game changer for me, and now I make sure to coat my feet with generous amounts of it before a big effort, and I managed to stay largely blister-free since doing so. There's also the added benefit of preventing your feet from reeking a high heaven when you take your shoes off, which I'm sure your significant other or your crew members will definitely appreciate during races. I've been using Old Spice, but I'm sure most antiperspirants will do. So if you're so inclined, try it out and thank me later. Okay, so is there that perfect pack out there that embodies comfort, storage capacity with functional looks? Well, I personally think the Salomon Adv Skin 12 might embody all of those things. The Adv Skin 12 molds to your body so incredibly well for a bounce-free, super comfortable experience that you almost forget you have a pack on sometimes. It has 12 liters of storage capacity and stretchy, functional pockets, some with zippers, perfect for stashing your soft flasks, your nutrition, layers, and if you want to further customize it, there's an option to purchase a quiver separately and attach it to the back of your pack. And I'm not gonna lie, it also makes you feel like a bit of a badass when you're whipping them out sometimes. The pack also includes two 5mm flasks, which fit perfectly in each pocket with an elastic loop to keep them in place. I've used this thing on my long runs, during long ultra marathons, and my multi-day adventures in places like the Dolomites and the Tour de Mont Blanc, and they do an excellent job of carrying all of my necessary gear, from rain pants, jacket, nutrition, to even things like a small drone and camera. So I've been running long enough to remember when poles were sort of frowned upon or even laughed at here in the States. We derisively dismissed them, calling them things like wizard sticks or cheater poles when we saw them at races. Now, not only are they commonplace, but the weight and build quality around them have improved leaps and bounds over the years. At the forefront of design and innovation have been Leki poles. Their poles are specifically designed for ultra runners, and I've put them through their paces on many adventures and longer, more mountainous ultra marathons. The Ultratrail FX Ones, which I have right here, have been standouts for me. They are made from 100% carbon fiber, making them ultralight, yet really impressively sturdy. Each pole weighs just a tick over 6 ounces, which is barely noticeable during my long runs. I also love the foldable design. It's incredibly compact and easy to stash away when not in use. I also come to really dig their shark grip system, which combines these glove-like things that secure and snaps into each pole so that you can focus more on pole placement rather than holding on for dear life onto the grip. I've used them on steep ascents, rocky descents, and everything in between for that added stability. I've also leaned on them when I got incredibly tired during 100-mile races. They are a bit of an investment. I think they come in, or at least these ones, come in at about $189 US. Also, the shark grip system does require a bit of getting used to. Sometimes getting them on or off can take a bit of an effort. But overall, I love Leki's products. I think they're a fantastic choice for those of you more advanced, serious ultra runners who value lightweight performance where every gram and ounce matters. I've been using Precision Fuel for over a year now after first being introduced to them by my buddy Flores. And not only did they make a great first impression, but they're now my go-to fuel for all of my endurance events. I tried a lot of gels over the years, and these are among the smoothest and easiest to consume by far. The flavors are subtle, they're not too sweet, which is a huge plus, especially when you're hours into a race and can't stomach anything super sugary and develop that palate fatigue. They also don't leave that sticky residue in your mouth, which I really appreciate, making them easier to get down. Each of the individual gels has about 30 grams of carbs. I also really dig their larger pack with the screw-on cap, which has 90 grams of carbs total. I just found that these are great at delivering that steady energy without the spikes and crashes that some of the gels can cause. I also highly recommend their blocks, which are super tasty and a great way to change things up from a palate and fuel perspective. Great product, great guys. Give them a try and let me know what you think. I have to admit, I really wasn't a fan initially anyway. Just putting them on and standing in them, they felt really weird. The dynamic rocker felt really exaggerated, making standing or walking in them a bit unwieldy. But hey, these shoes weren't made for walking. They're made for running. And after several miles, especially when you crank up the effort a bit, you get why people like Ruth Croft and Tom Evans leaned on these weapons to win a race like Western States. Let's go over some of the technical aspects to start. You're looking at a 30mm forefoot, 38 millimeters in the heel for an 8mm drop. Very minimal upper and tongue. It's a super shoe, but it's not a carbon insert. Rather, I believe it's a plastic wishbone shaped proprietary energy rod, which does provide good stability and balance. And when you combine that with the cushioned Light Strike Probe midsole foam, makes for a fun, bouncy ride over long distances or speedy workouts. The lugs are 2.5 to 3.5 millimeters on a Continental rubber outsole, and the midfoot does run a bit narrow, so probably better catered to a more easy to moderate technical terrain. Another potentially negative critique, the upper, while lightweight and breathable, can be a bit difficult to lock down between the sawtooth laces, which really aren't my fave, and the thin tongue and heel cup. I eventually settled on tying it in a runner's loop, and a thicker sock always helps, really, to make it as secure as possible. I put several miles on these bad boys, and I think they make for a really fun race day shoe for any distance that is sub-ultra to 100K, maybe even a 100-miler. And keep in mind, these are not your everyday trainers. The Agravic Speed Ultras are like the sports car in your garage, your Porsche or your BMW, something that you want to reserve for special occasions or weekend driving and races, of course. So the big question, are they worth the $220 sticker price? It's entirely subjective, of course. If money's not really an obstacle, or even if you can find them, I know they're increasingly harder to find, I say give them a whirl. Pull the trigger, because they are fast and they are fun, especially on that flatter, more moderate terrain. This is another favorite of mine that I've used in many long runs, many mountain adventures, and even 100-mile races. The Path Project's Graves jacket is a versatile, lightweight running jacket designed for unpredictable weather or colder conditions. It's made from a breathable, stretchy, water-resistant Toray Prime Flex fabric to keep you warm and dry during cold, windy, or even light rain and misty conditions. The jacket is packable, making it easy to store during longer runs when the weather clears. It also zips up to a snorkel hood, has 2 hand pockets, 1 chest pocket, and a cinch waist. I really love the looks of this jacket too. Uses a modern minimalist design and a tailored fit without really restricting movement too much. I'm wearing this jacket out casually too, and it looks and works great for that occasion as well. Not sure how many packable jackets you can say that about. All in all, I just love the thoughtful construction behind it, from the fabric, the cuffs, the underarm laser cut ventilation. It's a do-all jacket without the bulk or weight attached to it, and at $139 retail, I think it's a great value for both the run and even everyday environment. As someone who documents both travel and trail running adventures, this tiny powerhouse has quickly become one of my favorite cameras in my kit. The first thing I love about this camera is its size. The Pocket Osmo 3 is insanely compact and lightweight, making it perfect for people like me who are always on the move. Whether I'm on a multi-day trek in the Dolomites or a trail run here in LA, it easily fits into my running vest or my running belt without adding too much weight or too much bulk. Even on technical descents or rocky trails, the stabilization really helps keep my shot steady, cinematic, with no post-production stabilization needed. And with a 1-inch sensor, I've honestly had trips where I just pack this and maybe a small mini drone as the 2 cameras in my kit, which is great for something like international travel or trips around the Mont Blanc, and you can keep things really tidy and compact. The Creator Edition takes it up a notch with accessories like the wireless mic, which have been a lifesaver for capturing that high quality audio even in windy conditions.
I'm just super excited to see more of the landscape and what we're about to encounter.
And you have a whole range of different shooting modes to play with. You can switch between high quality 4K slow-mo from 60 frames to 120 frames per second. You can run a time lapse on this thing, and you can also transition to low light video for those shots where a light source is limited. For those of you who love color grading or want more control in post-production, the Pocket Osmo 3 also supports D-Log-M, offering a flat color profile, which is great for preserving dynamic range and making those vibrant sunrise or sunset scenes really pop during editing. A couple of downsides I do have to point out, for me anyway. something I love to see in a future edition. The Pocket Osmo 3 is not weather sealed, so I get very skittish about exposing it to certain environments like rain or even when I'm near a body of water. That's where something like a GoPro has the distinct advantage. I've beaten the crap out of my GoPros in the past without really giving it a second thought, but you better believe I'm a lot more careful when handling the Pocket Osmo. Also, I wish it came with the option to upgrade the onboard audio. The in-camera microphone is perfectly serviceable for walk and talk audio, but when you're moving the camera, when you're running with it, or on days where it's windy, it can really affect the audio quality. I'd love to see an option for some kind of a small external mic option with a fuzzy dead cat to filter that out in the future. But all the pros greatly outweigh the cons in my opinion. If you're a creator or a budding creator, I recommend skipping the GoPro and opting for this instead. Starting price is at $519 US. A good pair of sunglasses is always helpful for those bright sunny days out on the trail, but what if within that, you could also integrate a couple of pieces of tech you probably bring with you anyway? Allow me to share my thoughts on the Ray-Ban Meta glasses, specifically the Wayfarer Transition ones. First of all, these look like your classic Ray-Bans. There's no bulky design or awkward tech vibes here like your Snap or Google Glass. They're sleek, they're decently lightweight, and they're surprisingly comfortable. Whether I'm out there on a casual walk or out running the trails, they don't really feel that out of place. And with the transition lens on these guys, I can bring them with me both indoor and outdoors. Okay, the features. So the built-in camera lets you capture first-person photos and videos really easily. You just push or hold down the button here to capture content that you want to capture, or you can use voice commands to do so using Meta AI's prompt. It's perfect for documenting trail runs, scenic hikes, or even those unexpected moments on the go without having to interrupt your activity or pull out your phone. I used them over the course of the running event in Austin, Texas recently, and it just made interacting with friends and vendors so much more seamless and less in your face when doing so. Or even when you're picking up gear, you can just hold it up in front of you and document it that way. You have one side, which is the camera, the other side, which is an indicator light letting people know when you're filming or taking a photo. And no, you cannot take a photo or video covering the indicator light, so don't think about being a creep about it. Further along its features, the integrated speakers and microphone make it easy to take calls or listen to music without pulling out your phone. This is a feature I really love, as I can listen to podcasts, listen to music on my runs without too much noise bleed, A, but B, also being aware of my surroundings and even being able to take calls on the go. On the right side of the glasses, you can tap to start or pause music and even adjust the volume by sliding your finger forward or backwards. You should also know that it's on the heavier side when it comes to glasses, which really isn't a factor in everyday life, but when combined with running, especially with some sweat involved, there can be some slippage. And in particular when you have a flatter Asian nose like me. Highly recommend investing in some silicone nose pads to counter the slippage. You can usually find them on Amazon for under 10 bucks. Battery life is okay. Not great, although what do you really expect in something with a relatively small form factor? For context though, I recently went on a 90-minute run, and between listening to a podcast throughout and taking the occasional video and photo, it was only down to about 50% when it was all said and done. Also, the good news is that you can carry the case with you. It allows you to recharge on the go for continuous use throughout the day. And while the video quality is good for casual and social media use at 1080p, it's not replacing a dedicated camera just yet, especially since it only films vertically. For someone like me who loves to document travel and trail runs, the hands-free recording is a game changer. There's no more need to fumble with the camera or pull out a phone. It's really as simple as looking at what you want to capture, pressing the shutter down, or having Meta AI either take the photo or explain what you're seeing. You can also just listen to music or podcasts without putting earbuds in and out of your ears. And at approximately $300, give or take, I think it's a pretty good value. So there you have it. These are 10 of my favorite pieces of trail running gear, things that have helped me enjoy the trails a little bit more, stay prepared for whatever comes my way, and of course, help capture content. Remember, you don't need all this stuff to get out there and run, but if you found any of this helpful or if any of it resonates with you, it might just help enhance your experience out there as well. Now I want to hear from you. What are some of your go-to trail running essentials, some of your favorite pieces of gear? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always staying a student and curious to hear what others are using out there. And if you found this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more trail running content, and as always, I'll see you out there on the trails. Thanks for watching.